Right now, you're probably reaching for something that tastes amazing but feels terrible an hour later. That craving for processed food over fresh vegetables isn't a willpower problem. It's actually your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do 200,000 years ago, when the environment was completely different. Your ancient survival wiring is still running the show, prioritizing immediate reward over long-term wellness because that's what kept your ancestors alive in a world of scarcity and immediate danger. Your brain isn't just randomly craving that slice of pizza or avoiding the gym. It's following a 200,000-year-old survival manual that was written when calories were scarce and predators were everywhere. When you understand that reward isn't about happiness at all, it's about metabolic optimization, where every thought you have and every step you take has a biological price tag. And saving energy was a key feature of evolution because it freed up resources for other vital functions. Suddenly, your brain's choices make perfect sense.
50,000 years ago, your ancestors walked through a landscape where finding food took hours of energy, where winter could kill you, where every calorie burned better lead to survival. In that world, your brain developed two competing systems that are still duking it out every time you look at a menu. The limbic system evolved to handle essential survival behaviors like feeding, reproduction, and fight-or-flight responses. It's one of the oldest parts of the brain, designed to guarantee the survival of the individual and species. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex performs logical analysis, planning for the future, and self-control. But these regions only emerged in early mammals, making them evolutionary newcomers trying to override millions of years of survival programming. When your body needs to respond to a disturbance, like managing glucose levels or handling stress, dopamine triggers an insulin or cortisol response that's energetically expensive, increasing metabolic effort.
This is what you subjectively experience as motivation, the drive to resolve that physiological demand. Your ancient brain sees a donut and thinks high calorie, low effort, survival jackpot. It sees a salad and thinks low calorie, requires chewing energy, potential waste of precious resources. The same wiring that kept your ancestors alive now sabotages your health goals. Recent neuroscience research has revealed something that changes everything we thought we knew about willpower. Scientists have discovered that reward isn't about pleasure at all. It's about metabolic optimization. They found how shifting levels of a brain protein called KCC2 can reshape the way cues become linked with rewards, sometimes making habits form more quickly or more powerfully. What this means is that your brain is constantly running cost-benefit calculations based on ancient survival math, not modern health logic. The classic view that dopamine signals reward prediction errors is being challenged by emerging studies suggesting dopamine is involved in predicting actions that encourage repeated behavior. Meaning your addictive habits aren't just consequences of reward, they're predictions your brain makes about what actions will save energy. When you walk past the vending machine, your brain isn't just remembering that candy tastes good. It's running a prediction algorithm that says, last time we did this, we got quick energy with minimal effort. Survival probability increased. Repeat behavior.
Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, the part trying to make you eat vegetables and go to the gym, is fighting an uphill battle against systems that had millions of years to perfect their energy conservation strategy. The prefrontal cortex and limbic system are essentially opposites. And while the prefrontal cortex eventually wins out in adults and exerts more influence over behavior, the limbic system develops quickly, and the prefrontal cortex is always trying to catch up. This is why you can know intellectually that exercise is good for you, plan your workout schedule, even buy expensive gym equipment, and still find yourself on the couch with takeout. Your rational brain is a 25-year-old intern trying to override a 200,000-year-old CEO, who's convinced that burning extra calories without immediate survival benefit is corporate suicide. In evolutionary terms, subcortical regions responsible for basic survival functions, the limbic system, basal ganglia, and brainstem, were relatively larger in our ancestors than the expanded prefrontal regions we see in modern humans. The breakthrough insight from recent research is this: when an action successfully resolves an energy demand and reduces expenditure, the resulting relief becomes reinforcement. Your brain learns any adaptation that improves physiological effort because it saves the body energy. This means your brain literally rewards you for choosing the path of least resistance and punishes you through stress, fatigue, and craving for choosing behaviors that seem energetically expensive.
Your ancestors who hoarded calories, avoided unnecessary movement, and craved high-energy foods were the ones who survived famines and passed on their genes. The ones who burned extra energy staying healthy died out. You're walking around with the brain of a famine survivor in a world of abundance. And that mismatch is the real reason healthy choices feel so unnatural. So here's my question. When you're standing in front of your fridge at 10 p.m., are you team ancient survival brain grabbing the leftover pizza, or team modern logic reaching for the apple? Drop your answer in the comments below. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Because your brain's energy-saving obsession doesn't just control what you eat. The modern food industry didn't just accidentally stumble into products that hijack your ancient brain. They've reverse engineered it. Manufacturers use sophisticated engineering to create compulsive consumption patterns, transforming raw ingredients into highly potent delivery systems, optimized for speed, dose, and sensory appeal.
Ultra-processed foods, particularly those high in refined sugars and saturated fats, elicit neurobiological responses akin to those observed in substance use disorders. When you bite into that perfectly engineered snack, your brain experiences something that never existed in human evolution, a supernormal stimulus that triggers dopamine release far beyond anything natural food could provide. These combinations of sugar, salt, fat, and additives are designed to maximize taste and shelf life, creating hyper-palatable designs that stimulate reward pathways in the brain and create cravings that mimic addictive responses. A brain imaging study of nearly 30,000 people uncovered striking connections between eating ultra-processed foods and measurable changes in brain structure,
with people who eat more showing differences that could encourage overeating as part of a feedback loop that promotes food addiction. Your brain is literally being rewired by products designed to exploit the same survival mechanisms that kept your ancestors alive. The food industry replicates strategies perfected by the tobacco industry of the 20th century. Just as tobacco companies engineered cigarettes to maximize nicotine delivery, food companies engineer products to maximize dopamine hits while bypassing your brain's natural satiety signals. The industrial engineering of the cigarette turned nicotine into a global epidemic. And the same playbook is now being run on your reward system.
When your brain learns that opening a bag of chips guarantees immediate pleasure, it stops making you work for food and starts making you crave the specific engineered product. Cues that predicted imminent reward with high probability trigger large dopamine responses associated with checking for expected reward rather than instrumental seeking. This is why willpower fails. You're not fighting your own weakness. You're fighting a multi-billion-dollar industry that has spent decades perfecting the art of overriding 200,000 years of evolutionary programming. Animal and human studies demonstrate that excessive consumption of palatable foods induces behaviors characteristic of addiction, binging, craving, tolerance, and withdrawal, with chronic overconsumption altering dopaminergic tone, disrupting prefrontal control, and activating stress pathways that reinforce compulsive intake. But understanding this mismatch reveals the solution. The secret isn't fighting your ancient brain.
It's designing your environment to work with it.
When you remove ultra-processed foods from your immediate environment, you're not depriving yourself. You're restoring your brain's natural reward sensitivity. When you make healthy foods the easiest choice in your kitchen, you're leveraging the same energy conservation programming that makes you reach for convenience foods.
Your ancient brain will always choose the path of least resistance. The breakthrough insight is that you can engineer that path. Stock your fridge with pre-cut vegetables instead of chips. Put a water bottle on your desk instead of soda. Make the gym bag easier to grab than the TV remote. You're not changing your brain. You're changing what your brain encounters when it runs its ancient survival calculations. Healthy choices aren't about discipline. They're about environmental design that makes your 200,000-year-old survival brain think the healthy choice is the survival choice. When you understand that your cravings aren't personal failures, but predictable responses to engineered stimuli, you stop fighting yourself and start designing your environment to work with your biology instead of against it. Every healthy choice is you outsmarting 200,000 years of evolution. Subscribe for more science that explains why you do what you do.